Okay, next we have public hearings, proposed disposition of real property. The Lee County Board of Supervisors will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, August 17, 2021 at 5:30 p.m. in the General District Courtroom, Lee County Courthouse in Jonesville, Virginia. The purpose of the public hearing is to receive public comment on the proposed disposition of real property consisting of tax parcel NM-12593.
Mr. Chairman, this is sort of a carryover from last month. We had several parcels listed, and this was an oversight. This one should have been listed, and there was a parcel that was listed last month that should not have been listed, which that won't matter, so it's not owned by the county currently, so we certainly can't sell it. But this is just one of the parcels that we missed last month.
Any public comment? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to departmental reports. Constitutional officers and treasurers report. Any questions about the report? All right, next we'll move on to public expression. Do we have anyone here for public expression?
If you want somebody before me, that'll be fine.
Huh?
If you want somebody else wants to go before me, that's fine.
It looks like you're the only one.
My name's Roger Waddell, and I work for you guys. And Mr. Slim, I'm sorry, I should have talked to you. I hope this isn't a blind side. But today I'm here as a taxpayer. But on Sunday, August the 8th, we went through Duffield at 9:30 in the morning in combat. The site there in Scott County the doors was shut. Well, I run that route up there on August the 9th, which was Monday. It was a total disaster. Garbage on the ground, just everywhere, 4 or 5 foot high stacked on the cans. And the reason for this, when Scott County sites gets full, they close theirs. So they make a beeline to our spot up there at Jasper. I confronted 3 people while I was dumping the sites. The first lady, she was from Scott County, and I asked her, I said, where are you from? She says, I'm from Duffield. She says, I just was down there where you was dumping cans. I said, no ma'am, that was not me. That was Scott County's trucks. When Scott County's trucks is dumping, they close the gate to keep the public off of them. Well, I asked her, I said, this is Lee County, you're not supposed to be here. Well, it's the next one in line. She was going to Wise County. Next couple I asked, it was an Oriental couple. They was from Wise County. The third person was from Wise County. This lady's comments said the signs needs to be bigger and there's nobody there to tell us no. That was her comments. And that was 3 people the whole time I was dumping that site, and not one of them from Lee County. There was a 4th vehicle. He was sitting out there waiting to be dumped, and I do know him. He is from Lee County. And I've heard talk of building a new site, and we do need a new site. But if you build a new site, it's going to be just like Kevin Costner and Field of Dreams. Build it and they will come. It's not going to stop them. We're going to have to do something to police it, cut the hours or something. It's the same way in 3 of Mr. Smith's districts. People are coming in there from Tennessee and Kentucky. You've got the school kids coming up to the vet school. We see them all the time. I've followed them up the road. They go to the dump. They drive straight up to school. And I've got an article here that I looked up, and I think there was a new law went into effect on garbage and littering at the first of the fiscal year. But right here is one of them. It says the governing body of any locality may adopt ordinances not in conflict with the provisions of this section and may repeal or amend such ordinances. Which I'm no lawyer, but anyway. But these people, they don't care about us as Lee County. They're just interested in a place to throw garbage out. I've got video right here on my phone from that day. And I've got a video picture there, or a video. It was a piece of garbage, a box from Clintwood, Virginia. Clintwood, Virginia is, what is that, Buchanan County? It may not be Buchanan. It is. Okay. If we go into a site in Tennessee or Scott County, we will be marched out, showed the gate, no questions asked. I've been there and done that. That was when I worked over at Duffield for the sawmill. Then that's when we had county stickers. We need to write some tickets or do something. I hear that you can't, you gotta catch them in the act. But you know, if you build enough fire under people, you might not burn them, but you can make it uncomfortable where they might think about it. And I do believe that word of mouth will travel if something is done. And about the scheduling, if we go to the doctor, we don't go to the doctor and ask him to work around our schedule. We work around his. Same as a grocery store. I mean, there's gonna have to be, looks like something. And last, I want to say, can we as a county afford to continue to dispose of this out of county and out of state garbage? And we cannot continue to reward bad behavior. With our tax dollars. Thank you.
Could I add something to that, Mr. Chairman? Mr. Waddell, you're talking about the school down. Those kids, it's out of state, 95% of them live there in the county. So I won't deny Tennessee, I won't deny all that. But those kids that go to school there, they've got enough to trash.
But sir, we seal at the very westernmost end of the county. We look at tags. I mean, it might not be Tennessee, it could be Colorado or anywhere.
Exactly right.
And I understand that, but it's got to be dumpsters set up there on that campus.
Well, they're not, so they use their dumpsters, but those people, as I said, 95% of them live in the western end of the county. It's going to school. Actually, some of them live in Arizona, but some of them. So I disagree with that part because they have to have somewhere. But now, I won't disagree with you about Tennessee.
But sir, if they live in Tennessee, they go to Tennessee address, they don't need to be here and us have to, as a county, foot that bill. I mean, it's a tiny amount, but tiny amounts makes a lot.
I agree with that. But I'm saying the people out of Colorado, California, or wherever, you actually down there at that school, you got kids from every state too.
One other thing I meant to touch on. I have rambled all over Claiborne County, and I do not can recall seeing a dumpster site anywhere around in Cedar Fork, Lance Hill, Little Sycamore, any of them places back there. I do not remember seeing anything. And it is close. It's closer for these people to come over here.
Yeah,
And plus, I
won't disagree with you on that.
Plus, I think they come to the grocery stores there in Rose Hill.
I agree with you.
Well, let me ask you a question on that. I understand you to say that was Dryden's dump site that
I could have misspoke, it's Jasper. I'm sorry if I did that.
I thought you said right, and I
I
started
could
saying,
have,
it's
but it
pretty good
is
ways around for
Jasper.
somebody just to hunt for a trash dump, but
It's Jasper on the 4-lane where everybody is coming and going. I'm sorry. I'm glad you called me out.
If I may, you mentioned that we should write more tickets. Whose job is it, you think, to write tickets or to issue citations about that?
I have my opinion.
That's why I'm asking you.
I think it's the police department. Whose do you think? Can I ask?
Well, I think it's one, the litter coordinator, two, the site worker, and any citizen that sees it. I swore out a warrant the other day for somebody littering. I drove from Ewing down here, I figured out who he was and swore out the warrant, and I had to come to court. And I think that there's people that get paid 25 hours a week to sit there and do that kind of thing, among other things. But I think if you see it, report it.
I can agree with that 100%. But I think that these people are scared, and I hope I have a job tomorrow. I think these people are scared to death. They have no backing, and they're afraid that they're older people. I think they're afraid of confrontations. I confronted a man at Jasper, and he was ready to fight. And he was from a business up there, bringing garbage in there. Whatever the heating place is, Mid-Mountain Heating and Cooling.
And I think part of the false myth is that there has to be a confrontation. I never spoke a word to the guy who reported. I just figured out who he was, and I drove in here and I wrote out what happened on the warrant. That's all it really takes.
But, I mean, you know, that is their, I think that is their, and we looked at it there once. And I'd say before maybe Jack Warner and Marvin Bartley retired, I'd say that the average age of these site workers was 75 years old.
well, I'd almost say it's just about impossible to find somebody younger that's willing to do that.
That's true.
And our other alternative would be probably just to leave them open, so. Without somebody manning it.
Well, another thing I meant to say, if the county doesn't get a hold on this garbage soon, it's gonna get a hold of us. And,
Well, I think we took a pretty good hold on it. We spent quite a bit of money getting it cleaned up. The county was pretty nasty there at one point
It
this
was
year.
horrible.
And I think we were probably one of the first counties in Southwest Virginia to get the garbage picked up. So I don't think that's where we're failing, because we made a move to get it picked up.
but,
Can I say something too? As far as the litter coordinator, litter coordinator can write tickets, for out of state, for whatever, out of county, whatever. But I think a presence of deputies when they're driving by, if they would go in the site and also do this as well, instead of one person covering all the sites, and you've got multiple deputies just, turning in and checking the sites out, making a presence, I think that would help a whole lot. We can get them, they don't have to do it every time, but when they're going by, they can swing in, and if they see somebody going through the dumpsters, write them a ticket. I provided the sheriff's department the county codes that they can write by. So that would make a big presence in all the sites.
Have you talked to the sheriff about it?
Yeah, I gave the major the codes. So I'm guessing he gave it to all the deputies, whether they go forward with it, I don't know, but if it would come from the board, I think it would have a little bit more leverage to get something like that done.
I think that's a good idea. I Yeah, just go there.
Anybody else? Charles, Larry, you know
It's probably hard to come up with a solution when you're only manned 25 hours a week. That leaves a lot of time for people to do what they want to, and nobody's there to do anything about it. And if that's a problem on Sunday, maybe we just need to close that one on Sunday. And if you do, you may have a mess at the front gate. That's
Probably would.
That could happen, but, you know,
I think it's a
if
worth
Scott
a
County
chance.
closes theirs on Sunday, we need to close ours on Sunday.
Some of their site workers close them when they get full. There's no set schedule. But I want to throw this out as a thought. What if we ask for a community meeting over there in Jasper area and let them say we're going to limit the hours and let them majority rule a few even days that they're open and a few morning days, and kind of limit the site where we manage it better. But let the community put forth the thoughts of the hours.
And one other thing, I'm afraid I'm gonna look like a liar, because they just shut those sites over there, I think, as they get full. And you might go through there next Sunday and the gates be open. So I don't want you all to think that I'm a big liar.
It's not a set time.
Okay, anybody else?
Hi, gentlemen. My name is Roberta Denver Oliver, and I live in Lee County, and I am here to say two good things, which some of you should take note of. But anyway, one of them is that I'm super excited about your Facebook page, and a lot of people have brought it to my attention that they're super excited about your Facebook page. I also don't know if you're aware that if you look at your Facebook page on your computer versus looking at your Facebook page on your phone, which everybody does things a little different depending on where they're at, it says two different things across the bottom, and that's what people have brought to my attention. On your phone, it doesn't say anything, but on your laptop or your computer, it says comments have been limited by the Lee County Board of Supervisors. People are concerned about transparency. You're a government body, they want to be able to talk. So I have two suggestions. One of them is that we either, y'all consider opening it up, or you go into your settings and remove it where no one can ever make a comment on any of the posts. And it will remove that message and make people think, why can't we say anything? Just a thought, I wanted to share. The other thing I wanted to bring to your attention is I'm super excited that y'all are being very proactive about broadband. It's a huge game changer for our county and many other rural counties once we get universal broadband. And I'm excited about the meeting, and I want to thank you all for being proactive. I also wanted to give you a suggestion. When we get all those names that you guys are going to get from your petitions, and you're going to send that in with what you want the money for, have you considered mapping out those addresses by district in the county? Because I'm going to tell you with experience that if you can explain to them that you're going to go here first because there's 15 schools there, school students there, and there's 27 residences there, and then we're going to go to this place second in this district because it has this many people, it's going to show that you are more forward thinking about how you're going to get that money and spend it than other areas are, and I just wanted to share that with you. Other than that, way to go. I'm very excited for both things, but I just wanted to give you some information that I had because I thought it would be useful. Thank you.
Well, can I just say one thing?
Sure.
And I think I can speak for all of us up here, but neither one of us up here are broadband experts. So we kind of leave that to the people that are experts and let them guide us on where the money is best spent and where we get the most for our buck.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of that's where we get our guidance from the experts.
Right.
It's not our ideas, because neither one of us.
Well, I'm excited that y'all are very proactive about it and you're getting your foot in the door right away. It's going to be a game changer for our county when it's said and done. So I just wanted to thank you.
But I will say on a note, that we do have some of the brightest people advising us. I can tell you that.
Okay.
Great people.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to approval of minutes. July 20th, 2021 regular meeting.
Make a motion to approve.
Got a motion to approve
Second.
and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, next we have that the county administrator reports that payroll warrants have been issued. And next, I guess what everybody's here for is delegations. We have Glenwood School PDC and Scott County telephone broadband expansion update.
I think you're gonna get thrown to the wheel first. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Great to see all of you. And just wanted to kind of come out of, most of you probably in your capacity on the Winnewisco board have heard the presentation from Scott County Telephone in regard to everything we've been working on to achieve universal broadband, not just in Lee County, but in all of Southwest Virginia. I cannot thank Mr. Poe nor all of you enough. I know I just heard you make a comment to the lady that spoke so eloquently a minute ago that there's other people that are doing this, but it's you all too. I mean, you all, Mr. Mosley, all of you all have called me, pressed me, pushed me, and as well as Scott County Telephone to make sure Lee County is not left off the map in terms of universal broadband. A quick summary, and then I'll give it over to Bill, and then we'll let Matt, who is really the all-star that knows all the numbers, kind of talk to you all too. But just to kind of point out, over the last 2 years, we were fortunate in Lee County. In 2020, body awarded a grant of close to $1 million to Lee County, with Winnewisco as the applicant, and the brains behind all of that, Scott County Telephone. They've heard me say this district-wide, and I can't say it enough. The partnership Winnewisco has with Scott County Telephone, we couldn't ask for a better partner. You know, we've done projects with other providers. That's not to say anything against any other provider. That's just me being plain spoken and saying that we couldn't have, I don't think, a better relationship. And I know Bill alluded to the relationship as well with Powell Valley Electric and everything they've been doing to make these projects a lot easier. And I think I'll let them go into detail on that. But then in 2021, as many of you probably were aware too, we applied again and received $1.2 million to do another project in Lee County. We've been working again district-wide on several additional applications that will go in, I believe, in September. And looking at that, as many of you all probably have read in the newspaper, the governor certainly made it, as well as our legislators, a priority to provide universal broadband. That made all of us smile really big, because essentially what it did, and I hope I'm not over speaking, and this ends up in a newspaper. If it does, it's Bill Franklin's fault. But really, we've taken, I think, what would be a 10-year plan, and it's certainly our hope to be able to expedite that much quicker in terms of being able to serve, again, Lee County and our entire district footprint. And I think with the application that's going in, as well as these other funds that have become available, we should hopefully be able to achieve that. Lastly, before I hand it off to Scott County, you all again should pat yourselves on the back for the forward thinking that all of you all used in regard to your CARES Act funding and applying those funds. I mean, district-wide, you all really took a lead and putting priority on helping to help kids, really, is what it boils down to. throughout the pandemic. And knock on wood, hopefully we don't end up in another situation. And I know none of us want to, but I can say I think if we do, because of your forward thinking, we'll be in a better position than we were, a year and a half ago when we all kind of got hit by what we got hit with. So again, I know none of you would pat yourselves on the back, but I'm telling you should, because your leadership, as well as Dane's, has really helped this process move forward. So I'll kick it off. I don't know if Bill or Matt is going to speak, and then any questions y'all have, we're here to answer.
Well, guys, y'all know me. I'm Bill Franklin with Scott County Telephone, and number one, we want to thank you guys. We want to thank Lena Wisco, and we want to thank Pie Valley Electric for the relationship that we've built. But you guys, Dwayne's told you about the two applications. He told you basically the grant amount, but when you add the match to it, that was about $3 million or 3.2 or something that we were able to do in those first two projects. And then you guys kicked in with the funding that you were able to acquire from the pandemic, so that's really taken us a lot of steps forward to speed that process up, and you guys were very diligent and trying to make sure that your kids could continue their education by doing the things you did with that funding. But that's basically speeded us up a lot. Matt's going to review the map that we've developed and kind of show you where we're at in these projects that we've got. We got the first body project done. We're working on the second one, and we're still working on the broadband funding that you guys. And I just want to say, our relationship with Pie Valley, we partnered up with them. We go to most other electric utilities, and they charge you make-ready fees. They charge you pole rental, and Pie Valley is committed to partnering with us, and they want to get broadband to all their electric co-op members. And by doing that, they waived all those fees. So they gave up that revenue source and until we get all these things done, but because we've done a few projects with other utilities, and we ended up spending a third of the money paying those make-ready fees and paying those fees that were charged by the electric utility provider, and that's that many customers that we didn't get to serve with broadband. So if we had a project and we were trying to do 600, took 200 out. 200 people lost the service because we had to use a third of the money to pay the electric provider to get on their poles. So I want to thank Brad for that partnership, and Matthew can probably tell you that they've invested a bunch of money in helping us build this fiber too, and I'm talking about Pie Valley. So there's been a whole lot, it's kind of like the perfect storm. The pandemic was a terrible thing, but this has actually been a good thing that's come out of it, and we want to, our partnership with Lena Wisco, that started 2 or 3 years ago, but Dwayne said we want to get universal broadband coverage in the Lena Wisco footprint, and our relationship with you guys has speeded that up, and I just want to thank you. We can't thank you enough. You all have been as good a partner as anybody could ever ask for, and I thank you, just like the lady said that spoke earlier, you guys have shown your forward thinking in the things that you've done. And I hope the people that live here appreciate that. Now, the only question I've got about the litter stuff is, when our guys is over here working, do we need to put the Lee County on our trucks now, so if they go to the trash dump, they won't get a ticket,
I'm not throwing anything away, Doug. City will turn me in, I have one
I
of them.
think our ordinance reads that if you're just passing through, you've got whatever you bought for lunch and you're throwing the bag away, that's allowed. But if they've got their truck loaded down with trash bags from the house, that's where we may have a
That's wrong,
problem.
well, I'll tell them boys not to bring it. And I'm just teasing, but I'll turn it over to Matthew and he'll give you a kind of a project update and, let you know where we're at and, how we're gonna move forward.
Well, I won't take up too much time. I'm just gonna tell you that we've got 683 customers connected, and we've got another 830 requests for service right now. As Bill and Dwayne said, we've completed the Body 1 project, and now we're working on the Body 2. So we've got.
So when you tell them where those are at?
Yeah. Brad's folks and Brad's crews have hung the cable in the Big Hill community, the Cooney Hollow community, which extends into Reed Hollow. We've got all of that mainline cable up. The Kurt Russell Road, and a lot of that was buried subdivision. Actually, we've got the Kurt Russell Road and the Parr Road area. We've got about 47 customers already connected down there. We got Sand Cave. That's actually on KU's system, and we finally got our make-readies and got all of that. It takes a little bit more of a process. KU's a great partner and good to work with, but it takes a little bit of a process to get things done there. So we're getting ready. Brad's he's got the construction drawings on that, and he's getting ready to release crews on that to start that. And then Kesterson Mill, Bethany Road, those will be starting really soon. We're still kind of waiting on some the make-ready bills to come back in on that. Am I forgetting any of them, Brad? Any of the areas? And so we got Big Hill, Cooney Hollow, Kurt Russell Road, Sand Cave, Bethany Road. Oh, Kaler. Kaler's a big one. We got a lot of folks and a lot of people calling from the Kaler area. So we're real close to starting there. So
You want to tell them where the Body 1 is?
The Body 1 was the Okanita, Right Poor Valley, Fleener Town, East Sugar Run, and West Sugar Run. So we've hooked up a bunch of folks in those areas. The Body 2, there was about 385 passings in that. The Body 2 is about 679. So, and then Brad and Powell Valley Electric, this is Brad Kopic, by the way. Let me introduce him. He's the general manager at Powell Valley Electric. And his people are just busy as bees down there. And working Saturdays. Our folks have been working Saturdays, doing installs on Saturdays. Last month, I think we have 223 installs. I think is what we had. That's staying pretty busy. And but anyway, they've his folks have actually they built 147 miles of that was non-grant funded. That's in the Lower Wallens Creek area, the Hurricane Road, Hurricane Bridge, I guess. Some of Flannery, is it Flannery Bridge Road? Is that right? Yeah. So they built a lot of that. I know we've got a bunch of customers call-in requests for Max Snodgrass Road. I think that there's about 12 eligible locations down there with students. So we kind of run out of places, as far as on the distance learning grant that we were talking about. We've had to build several miles of backbone to get to a lot of these locations, and so we're slowly but surely we're going to try to get to everybody. We had a lot of folks come in on the Fast Track CARES Act project that went up 421. We went into Ely Puckett's Creek. Up toward Keokee, we hooked up probably 50 people up in there. Middle Wallens Creek, Blackwater, is it Tan Park, thank you. We had a bunch of students up there. So anyway, it's been really, and you guys, I mean, your forward thinking leadership that we've got here in Lee County, I mean, it's, you know, you guys are great. I mean, to be thinking of your constituents the way that you have, as the lady mentioned, and it's very rewarding for us to hook somebody up. And, you know, somebody that's never had broadband, and for us to hook them up. And our guys, they'll come in and they'll say, you just wouldn't believe that, you know, how good it makes you feel when you make somebody's day by turning up internet service to their house. And we appreciate you all. Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I got a question. Old Nursery Road, off Fort Wayne Road here.
Yes, sir.
You all come down through there, which I know where it is. You took a left there at Bob Gregory's house, which you didn't go east. You took a left, come back to the 4-lane. What about that area there coming back east toward Flatwoods?
So, is that on Powell Valley system?
That is on Powell Valley.
Okay. We'll take a look at that. What we did, you know, as far as on our engineering, we kind of looked at, you know, running the main lines, and then we're coming back. We ran most of our big cables, you know, our 216s and our 144s, and then if there's not a lot of folks on them, you know, it may get a 24 fiber or a 12 fiber tap that will branch off. So as far as what we've been doing is focusing on is running the main cables. We're not going to leave out that area that you're talking about. And I know the old Nursery Road kind of ties into that Martins Creek too.
It does. And then also, are you all on the 4-lane on the north side going west? Like down there at the Amish, those places there.
We are. We actually, the one that, it's an old business, but a new location, the Lawsons, they approached us early on last year, I think around Christmas, and they said, hey, you know, we need some service here turned up, and we turned up some new service. Oh, yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's some people back east of that, just not too far back from Lawson.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we can take care of it.
Okay. I know you can't give an exact time or anything, talking about Sand Cave Road, Bethany Road, Kaler and all that.
Right.
But have you got any time frame? I mean,
we're still kind of.
Are we saying a year away, 6 months?
Oh, no. So Brad has the, you know, there's not a lot of build there on Sand Cave, you know, but I think there's maybe a couple mile of cable or something like that that's on that, and those guys will knock that out in just a few days. But then, you know, we'll have to come back and splice it up and get the drops and stuff around. But no, we're just talking maybe you know, a couple months or something like that. We're not talking years, by no means.
You're saying a couple months to get the main line, or?
To get everybody hooked up. Now, listen, you know, when you start talking about what these guys are capable of doing, you know, when we done the distance learning and the fast track, they ran, you know, they've got 2 contractors that are working for them, and you know, we started around the first of November, I guess, when we got approval. Was that right, Dave? And we built over 100 miles, or they built over 100 miles by the middle of December, because we thought our deadline was December 31st. So no, I mean they can really get on with it. Brad, about what's the average? How many miles backbone per week, or are we averaging?
We're doing 150 a month.
150 a month. So that's pretty. You know, one thing that we've got, you know, that we've got facing us is, you know, we see all this money. You know, Virginia's going to have $700 million. Tennessee's going to get $500 million. You know, all the other states are in the same shape, if not worse, than what we are in, you know, as far as, you know, the rural areas not being covered with broadband. And so all this, you know, influx of money, cash hitting the streets, you know, material's going to get harder to get. cable is, equipment, electronics, and then contractors. We've already seen that contractors are asking, hey, we might need a little more money, for this unit price. We pay our contractors by units. And so we're going to see that in the industry. Shirley Bloomfield, that's over the NTCA, she had sent out an email and it was just asking what people were seeing, out there, what's going on. We've kind of got a head start here on this project. And Powell Valley is, by having the backbone, a lot of the backbone already up. As far as all of the Powell Valley footprint is covered with backbone. And so what we've got to kind of look at, as far as the middle mile, what we've got to go back and look at is that there is some areas in between, and we'll look at that on this map before we leave, Mr. Smith, because we want to look at some of that area down there. Most of that area is down on the western end. And we need some help from you on that to kind of identify some of those areas, because there is some voids, some pockets there. And then, of course, we know that there's some areas that had the CAF 2 funding that's up in the St. Charles and the Puckett's Creek areas, and we've got to look at those and figure out a way how we're going to be able to fund those.
Are you on pace to get the rest of the 1,400 that we started with in November? Are you on pace to get them by December?
We're working on that, Sydney. We're averaging, like I said, we got about 800 more as far as, and then these town halls that we've gotten, that we've got scheduled for the 20th and the 24th, we're going to try to get some more, get some more names. So, on the distance learning, we had 450 was eligible households that we recognized. Then we had 100 on the Fast Track CARES Act. We had another 160. So those were eligible locations where we took the school surveys, and that's where we figured that there was households with school-age children. Now the other 1,400 that you may be talking about are, I guess, non-eligible customers. Is that right?
No, the contract called for 1,400 and I want to say 1,463.
I think that was, we'll have to go back and look at that.
The kids were in that number.
Okay, we'll have to go back and look at that because the distance started was 450, I think, wasn't it? That's 450.
You're saying 1,400 total customers?
Right.
Yeah, when he's talking about eligible, that means school-age children.
Right.
But the 1,400 is part of the overall project, that's the number of households they'll pass by that could potentially be picked up.
On the CARES
in
Act.
project.
That was on the CARES Act
Yeah.
funding, the 1.6 million. So we were doing that was, I think there was, those were households that we were passing, that we've not got that many people that's called in and requested service. If they call in and request service, we'll hook them up.
So the 800 you mentioned, are they along that pathway or that's?
They're everywhere throughout the county.
Gotcha.
They're everywhere.
And I think one of the issues they ran into on even the school-age households, the information that they've been given was that they did not have internet service, and then when they got to those households, some of them did have broadband service already, so they didn't get to hook them up. They stayed with
So
their
that's the reason that
existing
that extra backbone got built, because we were trying to get to
Right.
kids that didn't have
We ran
service,
out.
because that was your goal.
Yeah.
That was your goal.
Yeah, we ran out of, where, what we started at, we were gonna say, hey, we're gonna hook up anybody within 2,000 foot of the backbone. And so we actually ran out of that, and we had to that's why we built 147 miles. The lower Wallens Creek, the Max Snodgrass, and all of those areas. So is so we could keep spending the money the way that we were supposed to. Yeah.
And when we go with this next application, any of those people, those 1,400, plus ever how many more we identify that don't have service, then we're going to include them in that application, because the backbone's already there. All it's gonna be is us building a drop and buying some electronics, you know, so, you know, probably 50% of the cost is already, it's still being invested, you know. And so that's, you know, that's what we're gonna do, you know. So, because the 700 million that the governor put into this fund, it wasn't available, you know, when we were starting out 6 months ago, or 8 months, well, 10 months ago or something, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And, so we're really excited. We're really excited. You know, we think with this next round of funding, and that we will be able to, you know, when we get done, you know, they'll probably give us 2 years or something to complete it, but hopefully in about no more than 3 years, we'll have everybody in Lee County served that's not served right now. You know, if they want service, I mean, you know, and we hope they all take it. That's what we hope, you know.
The state of Tennessee, the 500 million, actually, Bill and I and Brad went down to Nashville, week before last, and so their DHCD folks were talking about 500 million. Now, one of the things they didn't say to us down there and found out yesterday is that 100 million of that is going to be for reparations to pay people's bills. So they're going to take maybe 100 million of that to pay people's internet bills. So that's what's happening. That's what they're looking at in Tennessee. So, all right. All right. Thank you guys.
Thank you. Bill, Matthew, Brad, Wayne, I'd like to thank you guys for supporting us and us supporting you. You guys did a tremendous job with getting done what in such a short period of time. And I really thank Pal Valley for their cooperation with you guys and all that Dwayne does
That's right.
to help us. Thank all of you.
We couldn't have got what we've done if we didn't have two really good partners, and we couldn't have got what we've done if we weren't working with you guys, you know. So you need to pat yourself on the back as much as you pat us, you know. But we really, you don't know how much we appreciate working with them. And you know, I mean, I know we all live in Southwest Virginia, but there's not any better people to serve as the people in, you know, Lee County, Scott County, and Whites County, you know. So we're really appreciative just to get this opportunity.
In the city of Norton.
And the city of Norton.
And one other thing,
Did you get that, Dave?
I was talking to Danny Mann yesterday, and he still wants you to change the name of your company.
Yeah.
Anybody else got anything? Again, we certainly thank you guys for everything you do for us, all of you, each and every one. We certainly could have done it without you so far, and we're depending on you to keep it going.
Fortunate to have you.
Cindy, what are the dates times, and places for the public hearings? I know there's one Friday, but if the press is here, it'd be a good way to get that out again.
20th is at Lee High School at 5:30 and around that. 24th is at Thomas Walker at 5:30. Lee High's at the auditorium, Thomas Walker's in the gymnasium. Good idea.
Well, I don't ordinarily ask this, but does any of the public have any questions for them that maybe you didn't feel get answered or something? Go ahead.
I have a question. So you're talking about connecting, going this far, laying all the groundwork so that people can connect, correct?
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, and you talked about how long it might take to get as far as you're going. My question is, how long does it take from the time someone gets put on that list, do they actually get the internet?
If you're in one of the areas that we've got
Right.
lit, in other words, electronics, why, a week, 2 weeks, usually, we have, when we've got a whole bunch of orders, requests
Right.
come in, we've got out as far as 3 weeks, but if you come in and everything's ready to go, you know, it'll depend on that schedule.
Right.
But, I don't know, right now, we're probably 10 days out, You know, we're wanting more people to be calling us.
Okay, so, because you hear those horror stories about,
Yeah.
I signed up 7 months ago and no one's called me. That's why I was asking, because
Yeah,
when you
yeah.
talk to people about this and we can say, hey man, they get caught up, you know, like in less than a month's time, that changes their mindset about wanting to do it, which is helpful for everyone.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to know.
And but what they've done, you know, Brad and them started querying their customer base, what, 2 or 3 years ago?
Yes.
And they said, you know, would you get, if we were to figure out a way to get some broadband to our customer base, would you be interested? So people's been signing that list saying, yeah, we're interested, and there might be a little misconception about what that list, in the
Right.
beginning, it was, you know, if we get enough of our customers wanting this service, we're gonna figure out a way to provide
Got
it.
it, right.
And now it's gone from, are we interested, to right here's what we're doing, so here's where it's lit, and probably, you know, we're gonna go through that list and make sure that we have vetted it enough to know if there's a person on that list that's in a lit area, that we call them back and say, hey, now we're ready to hook you up, you know. We're trying to tell people as we go through, and say, hey, you know, we're working in your area now, but we don't, you know, a lot of people work during the day, so we don't, and we're working during the day,
Right.
so we miss them, you know, and I guess that's been a little bit of the questions that the board's got, said, well, I heard they hooked my neighbors up, but nobody didn't call me. Well, you know, we gotta figure out a way to make sure they know that, because we would rather, you know, 50 people lived in the community and 40 of them on internet, we'd rather go in there and hook all 40 of them up at the same time.
Absolutely.
We're a lot more efficient. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely, I agree.
And so what happens then, if we get over in the next community that we've got lit, then we have to pull a crew and take them and send them back to get these singles. And we'd rather not do that. So we need to figure out a way to be a little bit more efficient in communicating, you know. And that's what we're trying to do with these meetings, you know.
If we can get a list of where, or, you know, something that can get out to the general public.
And that's what we're going to go over when we have these 2 town halls, or whatever you want to call them, you know.
Because that's super important for people to know,
Yeah.
it's on my
Yeah.
street, not it's
Yeah.
3 miles
Yeah.
away. They don't always comprehend that, you know?
Yeah, that's right. But those are all good ideas, you know, we appreciate that, and we want to do that, you know.
Can I make a plug for my neighbor right quick?
Yeah.
He said he has contacted you all, just the story that you were saying there, but anyway, we are on a dead-end road, private road, and it's just gonna be a straight shot up to his house. I mean,
So-
we've already got it,
We
so.
have well pleased with
Yes.
it.
So where's he at?
10 Bark Ridge
Okay.
on Chaston Drive.
Okay. Will he come to one of the meetings that we're talking about?
We'll get his
Tell him.
address.
Tell him.
Yeah, we just need to get his address, and we'll make sure when we get it lit and get to him, build him a draw.
He says that he's got his name on the list.
Okay.
Is it the Scott County telephone list?
Yeah.
But we're well pleased with ours, and I will have to say, the guy that came and hooked theirs up, Chris Stanifer, he did a wonderful job.
Yeah. And that's the other thing that I want to point out to you guys, you know, how many employees have we hired?
3.
We got 3 installers, but how many others? I mean,
Well, we've got 3 from Lee County.
Yeah, but then we hire some on the line crew, or they?
No, we hired some out of Weiss County that's hit the line
Okay,
crew.
Okay. But the
And City
3.
of Norton.
Yeah.
Well, little boys lives in Dunbar. Little boys lives in Dunbar. I just remember, you know, I remember that.
I think one of them is in Norton, really, actually.
Yeah, so he is, I believe you're right. So, but we hired these 3 boys to do installs, so they're Lee County, and so basically, you know, Bill Franklin can't tell you where these roads are down here. I don't know the geography that good, but when you hand them, and when they see that road, they know right where they're going. They don't have to hunt for it, they go straight to it. So that's been a real advantage, you know. But we want to be part of the community, and that's the reason we done that, you know.
I think these 2 scheduled meetings that you got coming up is really gonna help us. Not everybody's got Facebook. I put it out there, I told everybody, but I think that'll really help, because you'll have a lot of the folks come out to this meeting, so.
Yeah. And we're gonna use that as an opportunity for the people that's not in one of these served areas that we've got built or in the process of building. We're gonna get them to sign a survey saying that they're interested and that they're unserved, and we're gonna use that for documentation on this next grant application that we're gonna fill out. So it's gonna be a multi-purpose meeting, really. It couldn't have come at a better time.
Okay. That's it. All right then, let's just, and thank you guys again. Let's move on to approval of disbursements.
You gotta pay the bills, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, got a motion to pay. Second. And a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Mr. Chairman, I'm following through in my board packet, and I don't see refunds on the agenda, but we do have a refund. You should have one in your packet. Am I correct?
Yes.
Number 8. Number 8.
Oh, did I miss it?
VII.
Oh. Wait a minute. No, mine shows payroll.
This VII, David Hudson, approval refund.
It's on mine.
Is that an updated agenda? Okay, this is the one in my original packet, okay. Proceed. My error.
Okay. Or just one of them.
Make a motion to approve the refund request.
Okay, got a motion to approve the refund request. I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that's all the appropriations. Okay, next, under supplemental appropriation.
Make a motion to approve.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And next, we got new business. First one on the list is the board appointment, Lonesome Pine Office on Youth.
Make a motion to table that till next month.
Got a motion to table, got a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, next we got the school resource officer grant.
Chairman, we received award letters on 2 school resource officer grants, one at Thomas Walker High School, one at Lee High School, for the year July 1 of 21 through June 30th of 22. Each grant is in the amount of $70,000 with $58,156 in state funds, $11,844 in local match funds. We need a motion to accept the grants in order to receive the funds.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, we got the PD1 Behavioral Health Services Performance Contract.
As the providers, excuse me, for mental health, developmental disabilities, and substance use services for Lee County, the PD1 Behavioral Health Services is required to negotiate a contract, a performance contract with the state on a biennial basis. The performance contract is then required to be approved by all participating localities in the service district. You have a copy of the proposed performance contract for FY22 and FY23 in your packet. There's also a resolution that's been distributed to you, Resolution 21-016, that would need to be adopted in order to approve that.
Make a motion that we approve resolution 21-016.
Okay, got a motion
Second.
and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, we got the personal property tax relief rate for 2021.
The Commissioner Revenue's office has calculated the appropriate percentage on personal property tax relief for personal automobiles for 2021. The Personal Property Tax Relief Act provides for state reimbursement of a portion of the tax on personal automobiles. That is a fixed amount, so the percentage of relief has to be recalculated each year to account for changes in the total number and value of vehicles that are eligible for relief. The percentage of relief for the 2021 tax year has been calculated at 55.38%. That's down a little bit from what it's been in previous years. So there's either more vehicles that are higher value or a combination of both. You also have Resolution 21-017 that would enact that rate of relief.
Make a motion we approve resolution 21-017.
Second. Got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Next, we got reports and recommendations from the county attorney.
Sharon, I do have a report from her. She's not able to be here tonight, but I do have a matter to take up in closed session with her.
Okay.
Reports and recommendations of the county administrator.
And I do have more than what's on there, so bear with me. And I apologize for the extras, but we've also received notification on another grant, the Victim Witness Advocate Grant, in the amount of $102,033. This is a combination of federal and state funding. It's all grant funded. The only thing the county provides for this grant to be carried out is the office space. So we need a motion to accept the grant award.
Make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Abstain.
Second matter that I have, Mr. Chairman, you may recall back in January, we requested that the board approve a next generation 911 migration proposal. Didn't actually approve the proposal at that time, but gave an acceptance letter to participate in that and to follow through on a statewide contract that was actually awarded by Fairfax County. We've reached the point in time that we need to actually approve a participation agreement. All we gave them before was just a letter, but we need to approve a participation agreement. It's very simple and to the point. This basically restates what was in that proposal acceptance letter for us to be able to migrate to the next gen system. This is being done statewide. There is a cost involved in this. The counties, well, the cost of upgrading equipment and things of that nature is roughly probably going to be less than $200,000. But we do have state grant funding up to $200,000 that will take care of that cost. That probably won't occur until 2023. I think that's when we're on schedule for our call handling equipment to be updated. But we will have grant funds to cover that cost. The other cost involved in this is an increase in our monthly cost from AT&T. Currently, we're paying roughly $3,600. That's going to increase to about $5,200. That $1,600 difference will be paid for the state for the first 24 months. After that point, it will be the county's responsibility for that cost. But again, this is a statewide migration. It basically mandatory to move forward on this. And as I have advised you in the past, 911, it's a money-eating animal, and it always will be, just simply because it's technology-driven. But one of the things that this does, it increases the reliability of the 911 network. It also will give every dispatch center in the state the ability to transfer 911 calls from our dispatch center to Wise County, Scott County, Norton, Claiborne County, Tennessee, Bell County, Kentucky, any surrounding locality, either in-state or out-of-state. And that is more important today with so many mobile users of phones who are making 911 calls, so that you can transfer calls to the district or to the responding agency that really should have the call. May get misrouted to you initially because of location. This also comes with a higher degree of reliability and being able to pinpoint exactly where that mobile call is being placed from. So I would request approval of the participation agreement.
So moved.
Okay, got a motion to approve.
Second.
And a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Another item that's sort of a cleanup, this came up last year, but we evidently didn't get everything resolved on it. A school bond that was issued in 2013 for the Dryden addition, Dryden primary school addition. That bond was refunded or refinanced by the state last year because they had more favorable interest terms with that funding or refunding. Since we were part of that, we need to provide a certificate of refunding of a local school bond to the state in order that we can reap the benefits of that. It will provide about $85,000 in debt service savings to the school board over the next 10 to 12 years. But I just need approval of a certificate of refunding.
So moved. Second.
Got a motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Another item, the Economic Development Authority has an existing grant from the Tobacco Commission for the Constitutional Oaks Industrial Park Access Road. This grant's been ongoing since actually 2013. We've reached the limits of the extensions on it. Need to get it wrapped up and off the books by September 30th. Tobacco Commission grants are reimbursement based, which means the funds have to have been paid out to the vendors for the services. This is all for engineering services. There's an outstanding bill or bills totaling $33,500 for engineering work for the Lane Group. The EDA does not have sufficient funds on hand to pay that out, so they're requesting that the board approve an expenditure from the Economic Development Fund in this amount to pay that bill. When the reimbursements received from the Tobacco Commission, those funds can be replaced back into the Economic Development Fund.
Is that an eligible expenditure from the fund?
Yes, yes.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to do that.
Okay, got a motion to approve that, got a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
It will require that the EDA have a call meeting. Well, actually, we're supposed to meet, have a joint meeting this
Next
coming Wednesday. So they can take action on that at that time. And it'll be ready to go because it does require both bodies to approve in order to withdraw the funds. That was the other thing I was going to mention, just to remind you, the joint meeting with the EDA has been scheduled for next Wednesday at 5:30, scheduled to meet at the airport. I chose that location because it's a larger conference room. I felt it was more amenable for a joint meeting than in this room when one board is sitting up here and the other scattered through through the audience, and I don't think we get good communication, so I felt like it'd be better to have everybody around the larger table down there so that all the board members could come to the table, so to speak. So that has been scheduled. I do have a couple of items for closed session. I know I had it in there for investing, I think I had it down for investing in public funds, but that's not the case today. I just need legal, but I do have two matters to bring to you on that. That's all I have.
Okay, reports and recommendations of the board. Robert?
Mr. Collinsworth had an idea about us urging the board to, or urging the sheriff to have deputies, I guess, traffic to dump sites. I think it's a good idea. What do y'all think about maybe having Mr. Poe write a letter citing the ordinance in the letter, asking him to, I know they're busy and that's probably not a high priority, but even if it's as simple as when they're writing their reports and they're sitting there in their car, they just sit at the dumpster and write their reports, and I think they could monitor a little bit. Yeah, I make a motion to have Mr. Poe do that.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Ms. Thacker, Oliver mentioned comments on Facebook. I didn't realize until she mentioned it that that was the situation. Is that, do you know if that's intentional, Mr. Poe? I know you don't manage the Facebook page, but is that intentional or?
Well, we didn't open it up. I know Animal Control tried to run theirs at one time with comments, and it becomes not a good situation.
Topics.
Yeah, it just basically becomes an open forum for people to vent and put anything and everything out there. So we just felt like we'd use it as an informational tool to put information out.
It doesn't bother me if they comment, frankly, but what's your all's thoughts on allowing them to comment? I mean, I wouldn't expect the county, I wouldn't expect Jared to reply to the comments, but I don't mind if they can comment. What do y'all think, Blake?
I tell them.
Can I say something?
You get into too much of that stuff. I get enough comments about the internet service. I know how that is.
We're pretty good guys, aren't we?
Yeah.
Well, I guess what I was trying to make everybody know was that, yes, there are people that are gonna ask why it's not transparent, but what happens is, the way y'all have it set up, it actually comes up with the sentence underneath it that says, the Board of Supervisors is limited who can talk on this, who can comment. And if you go into your settings on Facebook, you just make it where they can't comment on anything, that sentence is gonna go away. And people are not going to assume that y'all are like, well, how come, they don't know what that means, and they're like, well, how come, Betty Sue can talk on it, but I can, or how come Bob can and I can't, because that's how it appears. I have a screenshot if y'all want to see what it looks like, that it was sent to me, but it's just interesting. And I'm trying to help y'all not have that problem.
Right, yeah, I appreciate that. Appreciate
Because I know how those problems work.
You're gonna address it, Mr. Poe?
Yes.
Yeah, we can
Department of Social Services, air conditioning issue, do you know where that is now, Mr. Poe?
Yes, I can remember. I talked with him the other day. They had, they had two issues over there. One, the part that they were assuming that they were waiting on had nothing to do with their air conditioning. That had to do with actually the heating side, and that is on delay. Oh, I told Jerica what the issue was, and I'm sure she could probably tell me, but right off the top of my head, I can't remember exactly what he told me. But it should be, it may already be resolved, because I think what he told me was it's going to be a few days. But I'll double check on that. Just off the top of my head, had several AC and maintenance related issues ongoing for the past week and a half, and the exact conversation he and I had escapes me right now, but I did relay it to her as soon as I talked to her.
On the town of Jonesville, I reached out to Collinsworth about the building that town of Jonesville was wanting to use from the recycling at maybe St. Charles or something. Did they get that building, or were we supposed to take it up in our meeting?
Oh, for the fireworks thing?
No, the separate thing, the Jonesville Fire Department wanted one. which
Yeah,
I
we
think
got
they
that. We
But
did.
then town of Jonesville, one of their employees called me and asked if they could use the building.
Yeah, that's when you called me and asked me about it.
Yeah, and I
just
said, I don't know if you want to take it, us to take it up or.
Yeah, I just said that I guess it would have to be a board vote because it's county buildings, you know.
Did you talk to anybody about it? Because I'm pulling the name, I don't remember what they told me, but they said they wanted to use it, but what they wanted to use it for, I don't exactly recall. Did I tell you that day what they wanted to use it for?
No, he didn't say what for. He just said, I want one of them buildings. I was like, you'll have to take it up to the board.
Who did you talk to?
Fuzz talked to me, and then Mason talked to one of the other guys, but
Mason was one who reached out to me.
I don't think I ever heard of anybody saying for what reason. So,
Do y'all mind if the town uses one?
I don't have no problem.
It
with
is,
it.
as long as, can I make a
As
comment?
long as it's for.
Would that not be something that should come to us from town council? I mean, if they have a need for a building,
I don't necessarily mind.
and I'm not saying I'm opposed to it, I just think that would be maybe proper protocol instead of just employees of entities calling and saying, we want this, we want that, and if that entity's not aware of it or not taking responsibility for
I
it.
think Dave's right. I think it should come from these folks.
That's fine with me.
And I can contact them about it if you'd like.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you want.
kind of figure out what they're gonna use it for.
So I was talking to Mr. Collinsworth a while back about whether or not we'd had any applications on the, I guess it's an entry-level position. I think the answer was that we haven't had any applications recently for that. And I think he suggested that we bump the pay up, and I agree with him. Do you know what that's at? Is it $10.71 an hour, Dave?
We bumped that minimum on up to $11. If you recall, that was part of an issue in, I think, when we were talking about budget, finalizing some things, because we were anticipating getting ready for the $11 minimum wage January 1, and we increased the minimum salary.
How long, so that's been since the budget cycle?
Yes.
And we haven't had any applications since then?
No, we didn't re-advertise it at that time because it was not advertised with the salary. Actually, we discussed just this week, well, actually yesterday, of reposting that and doing the boost on it in order to push it out, try to get a little bit of response on it.
What do y'all think about raising that?
I think we put it back out for advertising first, but what we set to pay at this last time, first, see what we get.
Yeah, that's fine with me. I didn't realize it wasn't posted anywhere.
And we're gonna get that domino effect again if, we raise the bottom one, it's to be the next 4 or 5.
Do you need a motion on that, or is that just?
I can re-advertise and we'll repost it with a stated salary, minimum salary.
Cody Wolford from the Airport Authority sent me an email that someone from WCYB had sent to him regarding putting a weather cam at the airport. I talked to Richard from the EDA a little bit about it. He had a good suggestion. I thought that the Airport Authority paid for it. They've got plenty of money in the bank and don't really do much with it. It would be about $500 to get the camera that WCYB suggested. What are your all's thoughts on allowing them to purchase? Well, not allowing them to purchase, but allowing it to be installed down there.
It's okay.
Sounds good.
I mean, I don't have a problem with it. Where'd they get it?
They've got $12,000 some dollars.
It's carryover from the old Lee County Airport Commission when they were up at, when it was the Joint Airport Authority at Phoenix.
But they really don't have any expenses. I mean, we pay.
They buy tie-down ropes and a few other things out of it. I was actually gonna talk to them next month about possibly buying a new camera system down there, the security camera system. I've got some pricing on some, because 2 of those cameras are out. I'm starting to see issues with the 3rd one. And, I was gonna talk to them. It's not gonna be a tremendous amount. So.
Do you need a motion on that, or?
If there's consensus to allow them to install it, that's fine.
I'll reach out to Cody about that. That's all I have.
I don't have anything.
I don't have anything in city owner.
I'll make a motion that we go into closed session pursuant to 2:37, 11 sub A, 3, 7, 29, 8.
All in favor?